All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to take you guys through today's video. This is gonna be a full recap of Tour de Mont Blanc Unbreakable Trek, which happened last week. This trek goes through France, Switzerland, and Italy. It's around 100 miles and 35,000 feet of elevation gain, and normally groups do it in 10 to 12 days, and we did it in 5 days. So this is how our tour went.
All the light that we can't see, you were always there with me. We'd make our own view. So where you wanna go to? Hey, all the light that we can't see. Hey, all the light that we can't see.
Unbreakable 3, 1, 2, 3, unbreakable!
Where you wanna go to?
So Unbreakable Treks are something that I started in order to connect with my followers and subscribers, but also to create community. I know a lot of people individually have these incredible goals and want to adventure, but not everyone has built-in community with people around them. I know I'm very blessed to have people around me who enjoy doing things outdoors, but I know that not everyone has the opportunity to do so. So I love my Unbreakable Treks because number one is day one, you're all strangers. Like, everyone comes from different walks of life, from different areas of the world. For this trek, we had people from France, we had people from all over the United States, and no one knew each other. On day one, 16 people were all strangers, and by the end of Unbreakable Treks, I swear we're all family. It is like the most bonding experience you could ever have, just spending multiple days in the outdoors and spending intentional time with one another and really getting to know people and really getting to know people's stories, their strengths, their weaknesses, maybe some things that they crave on trail that they are missing out being in a different country. But honestly, it is literally my favorite thing in the entire world is hosting these treks. So just to start off, I am so grateful for the opportunity to do these and to connect with y'all and to explore and adventure in different countries. It's literally the coolest thing that I get to experience. So thank you for joining me and allowing me to be able to do these. So day one of our trek started on the 5th of July. So yes, I did fly out of Utah on the 4th of July, and we started off the trek with kind of a little bit of madness. So we actually had several cancellations because of the Air France strikes. So all across France, there were 3 different airlines that had, I think it ended up being like 2,000 canceled flights due to the strikes. So I think it was the air traffic controllers were on strike, and our group was affected by that. So last minute, about a third of our group had to change their flights, and we had to change transfers around last minute. It ended up being totally fine, and everyone ended up being there safely. But I was actually in the last group to arrive because I had to fly out of Utah at 9 p.m. So originally I was supposed to fly out at 1 p.m., had to switch it up, flew out at 9 p.m. on the 4th of July. Okay, so we just landed in Amsterdam. We went through customs and everything. I got a little oat milk cappuccino. It is so weird though, because we left the US at 9 p.m. It is now 3 p.m. the next day, yet we slept for like 3 hours on the plane, but it was a 9-hour flight. So really weird time change. Will I regret drinking caffeine at 3 p.m.? Probably. But here we are. We're in Amsterdam for a couple more hours, then we'll board our flight to go to Geneva, and then finally get with the group and head to the hotel and start day 0, basically. So day 0, travel day. I flew through Amsterdam and then landed in Geneva, which was our start point of this trek, where we had a transfer to pick us up on the 5th of July. So the transfer from the Geneva airport to Les Houches, which is the start of the trek, is around 1.5 hours of a drive. It is kind of funny because you're starting in Switzerland from Geneva airport and then driving it back into France to then start the trek in France. It's kind of funny as Americans, like, conceptualizing how close these countries are, because we're so used to states being close but not countries, etc. Anyways, I ramble. So we started in Les Houches, but our transfer was from Geneva airport. Our first night and our last last night in La Houche was spent at Hotel Ibis, which is really conveniently located right in La Houche. It's around like a 5-minute walk to the actual start line, like the actual sign that you see. There's shops in town, etc., which is actually just right outside of Chamonix. So La Houche is the start point for most people, but you can kind of start wherever you'd like along the TMB. This is just where we decided to start and end. Welcome to day 1 of Tour de Mont Blanc. I got 2 hours sleep last night, maybe. That's like being very generous, but that's okay. We might sleep a little bit better tonight, but I'm really excited to take you guys along for the day. We're gonna have a really epic and beautiful steep hiking day. I think we have right around 7,500 feet of climbing and 15 miles today. So really excited to take y'all along for it, but let's go get some breakfast. So the morning of the 6th was our day 1, technically, of our trek. And we started in La Houche. We ended up having a breakfast at the hotel, just a really light breakfast. We found that breakfast for us as a group was our favorite meal while we were in Europe, because you got an array of different meats and pastries, and kind of depending on where you land, you would have some sort of meat and a carbohydrate. So very necessary for us on trail as we were taking on this huge adventure. Is everyone? Woo!
Day 1, Unbreakable on 3. 1, 2, 3, Unbreakable! Woo!
And we started our trek from actually walking from our hotel to the Perrion cable car. I'm gonna apologize straight off the bat for any of my pronunciation. I do not speak French, unfortunately, so just bear with me and know that we'll have it listed on the actual screen so you can know what these words are, but my pronunciation might not be perfect. But we did start actually by carrying both our running vest and our bags. So this is something that I definitely recommend if you're trying to get this done in 5 days, is to have a luggage transfer. So kind of depending on if you book with a guide company, without a guide company, you can arrange your luggage to be transferred each day to your final destination of each individual day, so you don't have to carry your large packs. If I was to go do this on a 10-day trek and I was planning on camping, I would bring everything with me. Because this is a running trek, we wanted to make sure that we were as light as we could be each day. So we started our day 1 with carrying our heavy bags and being very humbled by the fact that we were not carrying our bags, and very thankful for not doing so. So we carried it around 0.5 miles to Perrion cable car. So that is the distance from the hotel to the cable car. We had luggage transferred, picked up from the actual guiding company, and that is where we started our trek. For this trek, I did have a guiding company help me out. So I had 2 on-ground guides named Manu and Mathieu, and they were super, super helpful for this trek, for not only translation, but also to make sure that our group of 16 people was safely getting to a destination each day. As one individual, it's really hard for me to keep track, especially on a running trek versus a hiking trek, to make sure that everyone is safe and together. So it was super, super helpful for me to have 2 on-ground guides. But we set out on day 1. This was our shortest day on trail, but honestly, I feel like we needed it, kind of being jet lagged from all arriving the day before, and also to just get to know one another on trail. I feel like it was kind of perfect.
We are about to hit our first little stop, get some snacks, some water. We're all dehydrated. This is just the joy of coming off the plane, but sucking down the water. So stunning.
But we still hit around 11 miles and 5,300 feet of elevation gain on day 1. So not for the faint of heart, definitely not an easy day, but our easiest day on trail by far. We hiked up a small pass across a suspension bridge, which was absolutely incredible, and got incredible views of the glacier and wildflowers, and our first taste of cows on trail. So stinking cute. This is kind of gonna be a theme throughout the footage. There were so many cute cows along trail, and I actually knew, knowing people who've raced UTMB, that this was gonna be a huge part of our journey, and was so stinking cute. We had lunch and a small coffee at Refuge des Miages, and I just wanna say, on this trek, there are so many incredible refugios or refuges, or huts, I guess some people call them, along the trail. Some of the huts have actual places that you can stay. Some of the huts are just restaurants. But all in all, I feel like this is what makes these types of treks so incredible, is getting a little piece of culture along this like incredible mountainscape. You're like hiking along these passes, you're in the elements, you're fighting through weather, etc. And then you come upon this little mountain hut that has food and amenities for you. And I just feel like it's just like the coolest thing to be able to experience. And I feel like TMB absolutely nails the hut experience with the refugio experience. And they're just absolutely beautiful. So I felt like every time that we came upon to a pass, there were refugios along the TMB. So here we had, I swear, like the smallest coffee I've ever experienced. I realized that in Europe, one coffee isn't like a cup of coffee, it's one espresso shot. So I learned along the trek that this was the case, but I had this like teeny little coffee at the refugio, and we did have lunch. The lunch that we had each day was just packed lunch, so a sandwich that we were given by the guiding company. If you're someone who likes to eat different things along the trail, you can plan around the refugios and what they might have as far as accommodations at the restaurants. Some refugios have little tarts, or they have sandwiches, full meals, and then some might just have snacks. So definitely do your research before planning ahead of time. And we're introduced to these really weird toilet situations. I'm gonna put a picture here because it was like the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. I was expecting to have like a compostable toilet like we have here in the States, but it was literally a platform with 2 feet pads and then a hole in the ground, and that was considered the toilet. It was really funny because I got out of the toilet and I was like, I might as well just have peed outside. That was super unnecessary. So that was our introduction to the amenities on trail, including the toilets. But I absolutely love this day on trail. We only fought weather at the very, very end of day 1. So all in all, just an absolutely beautiful day and such a great introduction to TMB.
All right, day 1 is done.
So after our first day on trail, we spent our night in a hotel in Saint-Gervais. We actually had a short transfer to our hotel in Saint-Gervais because of our accommodations. So originally we were supposed to have accommodations in Les Cotamines, but unfortunately they were sold out and we had to make last minute changes. So we did have a short hotel transfer on day 1. So you might not have to do that if you plan ahead of time and you have a smaller group than we do. But that is something that we had to do on day 1, and a short transfer again early on day 2.
Okay, so we are getting ready for day 2, just about to leave the hotel, get some breakfast, and then head for our biggest day on trail. So today we have right around 27 miles and 9,000 feet of elevation gain. So it is going to be a big, big day. Yesterday was relatively light, actually our shortest day on trail of the trek. So we had a nice like ease into what is to come. I definitely know that there are people who are a little bit nervous about today, and that's super reasonable. It's gonna be a big day that we are gonna face some weather, so some rain on trail, but I have faith that everyone is going to do so great. So getting ready to do that today. I actually met one of you who watches the videos outside of the trek here, which is just, every time something like that happens, it just absolutely blows my mind. On top of everyone who's booked the trek, like then having someone in literally across the world stop and say hi, it literally blows my mind. So thank you for those who've been able to do that. It's been absolutely incredible. I was able to actually get some sleep last night, which was so helpful. I was running off of 3 hours over the past like 72 hours, and that was not doing me well yesterday. So feeling a lot better today, way more well rested and hydrated. So I'm gonna chug a bottle of G1M before we get started. And yeah, I'm excited to take you all along. This was actually a really cute hotel last night that we got to stay at, so really happy about that. I love you guys so much. Let's hit day 2.
Day 2 was our biggest day on trail. We had 9,700 feet of climbing and right around 24 miles on trail. We ascended and descended 3 mountain passes and finally arrived in Italy.
I don't know where I'm going, I'm becoming alright. With running through the great wide open, oh, we're singing la 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 la. Through the great wide open, oh, we're singing la 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 la.
So we are about a third of the way through our ascent. So about 3,000 feet in for day 2. The views have been stunning. The climbs have been hard, but today is a big day, so just getting started. We're just about to crest our second pass of the day. So I think we're probably right around 7,000 feet to gain. So gorgeous. So we just crested our second pass of the day. So we're on the top of this col, just a little bit away from the wind, and Mont Blanc is out to play. So gorgeous. We're like 7,600 gain in, so only a little bit more to go. We are probably about a quarter mile from the Refugio. We are 23.15, I think, miles in, and almost 9,800 feet of gain. So big day today. We're also ending today in a storm. We're a little wet. Everyone's got rain jackets on. Sydney does not. She's like me. Winging it. We're like, it's only a little bit to go. So anyway, the group crushed it. We did split up today into a little faster group, slower group, just to make sure everyone was getting to camp safe. So that is gonna wrap up day 2.
So we actually had lunch in a meadow just before Refuge des Motets. It was honestly like a 10 out of 10 view for lunch. It just honestly, it felt like a 5-star experience. My favorite thing in the world is getting to eat on the ground. Like when I'm out and about in the mountains, I just feel like there's nothing better to the soul than actually just like connecting with the earth, and having incredible, obviously, weather on trail just made this so much better. So we had lunch in a little meadow and went down to Refuge des Motets and filled up water, etc. But that was just an incredible experience. And after cresting our second pass of the day, we actually split up the group, and we did this a couple times throughout the next few days, where there was a little bit faster of a group that was able to do a little bit more mileage on the days that we were able to split up. So this is kind of where we started doing that. So one group was able to catch a cable car to surpass the third pass that we were ascending and descending, but our group did reunite at our final destination, which was Refugio Monte Bianco. And this was our first experience in like a shared room with other people doing Tour de Mont Blanc. So I actually love this experience. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm a kid in like summer camp, getting to experience like dormitory style bedrooms and bathrooms. I just feel like for me, it like ignites a little bit of like a kid experience, but absolutely love this. This is our first like true Refugio experience.
So we are at the start of day 3. We just did a little climb, probably around 1,200 feet. And we are gonna come back down, but this is our gorgeous view for day 3. We have another big day. Yesterday we ended with 9,770 vert. And today we're gonna end with around 9,000. So another big day, but we're all really stoked. We ended up splitting up pace groups this morning. So we've got a little group that's gonna go a little bit faster, and then a group that just is gonna do a little bit less mileage, a little bit less vert. But it's gonna be a great day. I don't think it's gonna rain nearly as bad as it did yesterday, so we're stoked about that. But day 3, Tour de Mont Blanc.
On day 3, which was the 8th of July, we had 8,400 feet of climbing. So another big day on trail and another 24-mile day. Day 3 was also the day that we officially ran through 3 countries. So from France to Italy and now to Switzerland. And our small, faster group started the day by hiking up and over a ski resort and then through the beautiful cobblestone streets of Courmayeur. This was honestly such a stunning experience. I feel like I've dreamed of running through streets like this in my lifetime. And I feel like day 3 just started off with the most beautiful views through the city and like the most picturesque cobblestone streets. So if you're doing Tour de Mont Blanc in 5 days, just know that you're gonna have multiple 20 plus 25-ish mile days and really big climbing days on trail. So I love it. I feel like climbing is definitely something that I love to do. And I feel like the group in general just absolutely loved the experience of getting to climb multiple mountain passes. But just know, like each push, I would say up to each Refugio is around 3,000 feet of elevation gain.
So we just finished our first big climb of the day. We're at 3,500 feet of gain. It's our little view, and then we have a refugio up here that we're gonna hit, but we're waiting for Sydney before we head up there. But gorge.
This day on trail was the day of elements. We experienced, I swear, every season on trail. On day 3, we experienced snow, sleet, a rainbow, sunshine, and winds that were blowing the sleet like straight into our face for multiple hours.
Okay, we're currently in a storm. We're about 16 miles in. We have to get up and over this pass, but we're going through the elements right now. Everyone is cold, wet, but this is the mountains. We get all of the elements today. Rainbow, sunshine, snow, hail, all the things.
We had extreme mud on the trail, which was a hilarious experience, but also for some a very frustrating experience because it just makes ascending and descending mountain passes significantly harder. I didn't get a ton of footage, admittedly, when the elements were hitting us because I definitely feel like we were in survival mode. So just know that on this day, we experienced so many elements to the point where I didn't even film. I think something that was really beautiful about this day was actually that we stopped for a little bit just to allow the group to come together and kind of like honestly give a little bit of a pep talk. I just told the group, hey, like this is gonna suck facing the elements while we crest this pass, but we're gonna get through it and it's gonna be okay and we're gonna be safe on the other side. We just kind of need to push through the suck of it. So we gathered the group together. We made sure to stick as a group, the full 16, actually, and ended up being like 18 of us with the guides together up the pass and down the pass for safety reasons. There was a whiteout along the trail, so we definitely wanted to make sure that everyone was safe and together and we were able to get through safely.
Okay, so we officially made it to the Switzerland-Italy border. We just literally faced the craziest storm, but then the pocket opened up and it was incredible. So, Italy? Switzerland! Crazy. Insane. How was the hail coming up?
Oh, it was good. It was interesting. Nice to get a little mix of everything.
We got literally
True mountain experience.
all of the seasons today. All of the seasons. How was it?
Hail storm.
Oh, hailstorm.
We were low, now we're high.
Now we're high. Yes. Quite literally. We also me and Hunter actually were slipping all over the place. Like by far the worst.
Now we have Swedish fish to celebrate
now we
the
have
Swedish
Swedish.
crossing.
Yes! Switzerland.
Switzerland not a Swedish crossing.
That's fine.
That's on video.
You're like, yeah, it works.
Swede.
Same thing, apparently.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Don't listen. Okay, yes, let's do it.
But as we were climbing the pass, it was like unbelievable that the weather that we were experiencing completely cleared. So I don't know, I know. For me, it definitely was God protecting us along trail. Me and a couple others were talking about it and we're like, to be honest, we were just praying the whole time going up this pass that we would be able to crest safely. And for some like beautiful reason, we were just able to catch this really small weather window and we're able to get up and over the pass safely. But basically for the first like 3 hours on trail, we were just getting absolutely hit with weather. So just know that if you're in the mountains, things can change really quickly. So come prepared. I always recommend, especially in mountain conditions, to carry a Gore-Tex, to carry gloves, to carry head protection, like a headband or a beanie, to make sure that you can temperature regulate even if you're in shorts. Those things can really help along trail.
Okay, so we hit our stopping point, or right around our stopping point for the day, our last refugio.
And day 3, we spent our night in Cindone, which was another refugio experience.
It is officially day 4. We have another big day, 20 plus miles again, but off to a really beautiful start. Just arrived here from our little shuttle. We stayed a little bit off trail last night, so I'm excited to get started and take y'all along. I'm a little bit sleepy today. I feel like multiple days of not really sleeping have caught up to me, but all is well. I'll be fine as soon as we get started, but it's beautiful.
Day 4 was another 20-mile day in the books with 6,500 feet of ascent and descent, and officially the day that we arrived back in France.
Put your hand in my hand, darling, say go. Keep your eyes on the horizon, stay gold. you're my hero. Now we're running into the wild. I see the light.
The weather on this day was absolutely impeccable, and I think this was my favorite day on trail. It was honestly so insanely stunning, and I feel like this part of the trail was really gradual and really woody, climbing up these individual passes. And my favorite experience of this day, and maybe of the trek, was cresting up to a little restaurant called Bovine.
Okay, first stop of day 4. We had lunch at the top of this little pass, little town. I got a t-shirt and some souvenirs from this little shop, but it's so beautiful. Honestly, after yesterday's super stormy weather, I'm so grateful for the sunshine and these blue freaking skies. I feel like all of our morale is like top tier because we've got great weather, so. Great day, off to a great start. We're about 3,000 feet of gain in. So for the day, I think we're gonna end only at around 6,000 gain. So we're about halfway through for gain. So yeah, spirits are high. No one's feeling super rushed. Good day.
So we took a little break at Alpage de Bovine, and then we ran into Triant. And in general, I just feel like this part of the trail was so epically stunning, and it will actually be a location that I come back to, I think, with Tyler in the future. So absolutely loved it. And we ended the night at Hotel La Corone, which is like beautifully renovated. They actually have a sauna room downstairs. This was by far our best dinner, I believe, on trail. It was like luxe experience comparatively to the refugios that we were in the previous 2 nights. So I absolutely love this day on trail. I feel like it had kind of a little bit of everything, but was absolutely so beautiful and so gorgeous. And I felt like our location for ending day 4 was absolutely impeccable in Argentiera.
So I forgot to close out yesterday's vlog. So we're officially in day 5, hiking to Lac Blanc, which is Lake Blanc. And we've got a good climb to start the day. So full bellies, full hearts, let's go.
So day 5 was our last day on trail, and we ended with around 22.5 miles and 5,300 feet of climbing. And this was the day that we actually would arrive back in Les Houches and arrive at the final destination, the sign that we saw on day 1, and we're completing the Tour de Mont Blanc.
Okay, day 5, we just came upon this beautiful lake, absolutely stunning. And we are actually gonna head up these ladders to go up to Lac Blanc, which is impeccably beautiful. So I'm excited to show you guys these ladders. I feel like they were kind of hyped up and they don't look too bad. So give you a raw climbing experience climbing up these. Wow, this is so stunning. Oh yeah. Hi. Woo.
On this day, the most iconic day in my opinion, we arrived at Lac Blanc and got to experience literally the most beautiful alpine lake that exists. I believe it was absolutely insanely stunning. We soaked in the views. We hit a ladder, just one ladder on this day. I feel like the ladders get a little bit overhyped. It's literally just one ladder, super easy to go up and down. But we arrived midday at Lac Blanc and got to experience the refugio at the top of Lac Blanc. If you go to the refugio and you can consume gluten, unlike myself, definitely get a fresh crepe. They have different flavors of crepes, but it's crazy that you are literally immersed in the mountains and ordering a crepe. Like, it's just epic. I just feel like that's such a unique experience to be able to do. So if you're able to do that, definitely take advantage of that. We had an early lunch at Lac Blanc and made our way back down to Les Houches.
Day 5, last little view of Mont Blanc before we come down. So beautiful.
I got a fire in me, you're gonna set to burn. Oh, hey. Set out
We spent the last night back in our original hotel, which was Hotel Ibis, and we made that our final destination of the trek. Our Unbreakable trek ended that night. We had some people who stayed for a couple extra days, some people, including myself, who departed the next day back to Geneva. But honestly, this was like the most epic trip that I've ever been on and the most iconic Unbreakable trek I feel like that I've put on thus far. This was the most advanced Unbreakable trek that I've hosted, and I just feel like everyone absolutely crushed it. We had, most people were more advanced trail runners, but we had some people who this was their first experience that they had trained super, super hard for, and all of their hard work paid off on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, and everyone made it through safely. And honestly, it was just such an epic experience. So if you joined me on my Unbreakable trek, Tour de Mont Blanc, I just want to say thank you so much for being there. You guys all crushed it, and I feel like we just got so much closer as the days went on. And I feel like some of us, including me, are still like soaking in and digesting what just happened like a couple days later, because I feel like we didn't really have a chance to breathe on trail. So if you're in that mode, I want to say congratulations for completing the Tour de Mont Blanc, and thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you join for future adventures. So the total mileage for this trek was 100 miles and 35,000 feet of elevation gain over 5 days. You're gonna get give or take depending on where you start and where you finish each individual day, but that is where we ended with for our 5-day tour of Tour de Mont Blanc. If you're looking to train for something like this, I would just recommend 100% to get on trail as much as you can, and also to practice using the gear that you're gonna bring along the trek. I'll leave my packing list in the description below, but that is gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you if you're looking to take on Tour de Mont Blanc, and until next time, stay unbreakable.